kid, oh, if you a kid, you my kid, you're my kid, coming to you. If you a kid, coming to me. You my kid, if you a kid, to your baby. Nitashinda nikikufuata, ukishinda ukinifuata.
Everyone, how are you? We're hoping you're good. Welcome to our channel. Welcome to our family. Welcome to our vibe. My name is Damar.
My name is Jima.
And we are the
Crazies.
Today we have something very interesting for you. But Kwanzaa, we want to karibisha. Anyone that is new, thank you so much for coming, for joining us. We hope you like us, you like our vibe. We hope you hit that subscribe button to endele kukua. If you're back again, thank you so much. Asante sana. We are really grateful. Please hit that subscribe button if you've not yet subscribed, and that notification bell so that you get notified once we upload a video. So on to the topic today. What is our topic today, Mama?
Our topic today is depression.
Today we're speaking about depression. This is a topic that hits home for us, and you know why. Yes. This is going to be an emotional one. I hope no one cries. We tried doing this video. What I need to say, we tried doing this video on Friday. Was it on Friday?
Yes.
On Saturday, Mom said I wanted to cry at some point. She started crying. Then I ended up deleting everything. I don't know why. So we're hoping today it's all going to go well. Yeah?
We are hoping so.
So depression. First we will start with the introduction. What does depression mean to us? I will start myself. Depression to me is a state of mind where you're not in control of your mind, if it makes sense. You're not in touch with your mind, your thoughts, everything that goes on upstairs. You're just completely not in touch. Your body and your mind, they just don't move together. Yes. That is my definition of depression. What is your definition?
Yeah, I would say depression is a state of mind where you lose control of the realities in life, in yourself, and even with the people around you. It is a feeling of hopelessness, sadness, worthlessness, and depression, as it is, does not only affect the person who is depressed, it also affects those people who are around them.
Yeah.
So in some point they also start getting depressed. Yes.
Yeah, that was really nice. Wasn't that really nice? That was really nice. I'm sorry if I stutter or I stammer. This is going to be an emotional conversation. It hits home for me because I'm currently diagnosed with severe depression and severe anxiety. I'm on some medication. I'm on three types of medication.
Yeah.
I'm on 3 different types of medication. I'd have shown you, but I just finished my dosage yesterday. One of my dosages, so I have the rest. But yeah, so we'll talk a little about if we have been depressed. I am suffering from depression. I don't know, Mama, have you been depressed?
I have been depressed, but not so severely.
Okay.
But I remember there's a time I would go to work and I would forget what I'm doing, and then I have to recollect my mind. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll start. Okay, I will give a little background of how I got to where I am right now. So I feel like my depression started when I was a little bit younger, like when I was in secondary. I have been suicidal twice. So I have attempted suicide twice, and my mom has taken me. My lovely mother, who never wants me to leave this world, has gotten me twice and has taken me to hospital twice. So, my depression, or let me say my mental health issue, started when I was in secondary. I was in my form four, and we had a lifestyle change, like a really bad lifestyle change. We were having very bad financial issues. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were really horrendous. And being a spoiled child, having to go from grace to grass was not easy at all. So I didn't know how to navigate, the change of lifestyles, and that was the first time that I attempted suicide. Then after that, I feel like my issues just were bottling up, and I was not talking about it. I have never been someone who talks about my issues, and at that time, we were not even so close with mom. Were we?
Nope.
No, we were not. When I tell people that we started being close not so long ago, people don't believe me because our closeness is so good that people think it started when I was a child. No, it actually started when I was an adult. There's someone who told me you reach a certain age where your parents become your best friend because you come to realize ukunje hakuna watu rafiki ni Yesu. So yeah, so my issues started bottling up. Our lifestyle change was it was drastic. It was very drastic. Yeah.
It was actually very drastic because I remember I was kind of having issues with my employer. My employer, through a technical what do you say? Yeah, something, a technicality.
Mm.
The employer demoted me and they took all my salary.
Mm.
I remember from my salary, which I was okay with, I went to the bank and found 535 shillings. And somehow there were some things that were not done. And that time I could not reveal to my child what was happening because I was trying to be strong.
She's a very strong.
I was trying to be strong, but as days went on, even her at form 4, she was old enough to know that something was going wrong.
Yeah. So for me, things bottled up. Then I came into the world. I learned life, and life was not easy. So I was trying to navigate everything, and I was trying to be a teenager, but still be an adult at the same time. So it was really strenuous for me. So I grew up very fast. Then I started having a lot of issues. There are times that I've gotten pregnant and I've had a miscarriage, and all these things were just bottling up for me in life. Then the thing about myself, I will say, is that I looked for therapy. I sought therapy at some point in my life, but then at that particular point, mental health was really not a big deal. People would say kuna stress. So even when you went to a therapist, it was stress. All these disorders. I don't know if it's the counselors who hawako wanajua kazi yao ama unaweza sema aje.
Yeah, it all starts, even depression all starts with stressful
I
situation.
know it starts with stress, but ungeenda kwa counselor alikuwa anasema uko na stress. Yani see, it's not like right now I'm going to a therapist and a therapist is telling me this is the problem with you. At that particular point ilikuwa uko na stress,
ya maisha,
your life, things have changed and all that. So I stopped doing therapy at some particular point, and also because of funds, we didn't have funds. Then our life had a lot of issues. We were living from hand to mouth. We have had times we didn't know where the next meal was coming from. We depended on other people for our livelihood. We lacked basic needs like electricity. My God. There's a time we stayed so long without electricity.
Yeah, for 1 month.
For 1 month, and no one knew. Completely no one knew we didn't have electricity because she'd go charge our phones at her workplace, and no one ever knew. We have our candlelights. If I think I had a boyfriend at that particular point, I would go charge my phone there. no one knew we were having all these problems. So you imagine you're bottling up everything inside. Then there's a period mom was really sick. She had a kidney problem, and it was really strenuous to us because she didn't have medical. We don't have a support system, be it friends, be it family. No, we didn't have that. So it was all up to us. She had to offset um, most of her properties for that. Yeah, most of her properties for that. So all these things are happening in our life, and me, I'm just bottling them up. But the icing on the cake for me was last year. So last year something happened to us that I have never experienced ever in my life. We became homeless. And it was just around when COVID started. COVID hadn't started completely,
Yeah.
but it was around that time. So we sought refuge in someone who we don't want to talk so much about them, but sorry, I have a cold. That's why I shouldn't. That we went through a lot of emotional, mental torture when we were there, and that was a reality that I have never ever experienced. As I'm saying, all these problems that we were having before, we had a roof over our head. So we could lack food, we could lack electricity, we could lack water, but we had a roof over our head, we had beds, we had things that we could call ours. But now we're in a reality where we had to sell everything we had. Then we sought refuge in someone who treated us like trash. We stayed with that person for a month. A
For
month,
5 weeks.
5 weeks,
Yeah.
a month and a week. We stayed with that person. Then we now went and stayed with someone else for the rest of the time because we were homeless for two and three quarters a month. Yeah, 2 and 3 quarters, 2 3 quarters, 2.5 months. And that is when now my depression started being very bad. Then I had a partner at that particular time who left me because of what we were going through, what I was going through. I was a little bit moody, and it was a new reality. It was a new reality for me. You imagine there's someone who usually tells me usiwahi sema umepitia shida zote kwa dunia kwa sababu there are always new shidas.
Yeah.
Because before we became homeless, I thought that tumepitia shida zote kwa hii maisha. I even used to tell people mimi nimepitia shida zote.
Yeah.
But when that happened, then I was left. Then now that's what ignited. That was like the catalyst, the enzyme. Was it called the enzyme? I don't even remember. It was not the one that ignited the fire, because now I started feeling worthless. I started feeling like, everyone is treating us like trash. We just left someone's place who was treating us badly just because of the situation we are in right now. Then this person has just left me, and that is when now everything blew up in my head, and now I am where I am. I am fortunate enough to have had sponsors who have sponsored my mental health. I will get to that as we are talking of ways to deal with depression. But for now, I want mom to tell us if she has been depressed at any point in her life.
Yeah, I think most of the situation that brought me to, let me see, the situations that arose that made me feel depressed, they came from the same people.
We're so sorry about the noise in the background. There's too much noise. We're sorry about that.
First, I said about my employer demoting me, and then the second time, my employer decided there is also a technical problem. They are not going to pay me a single cent. yeah, I went to the bank, I remember, and it was so saddening because when I looked at the balance, I thought,
You had a negative.
yes, I had a negative 30,000. Yeah,
No,
I
it
had
was negative 23.
29,
29.
almost
Yeah.
30.
My mom tells me about her financial issues. We tell each other about our financial issues. A couple umeketi hapo, you're asking how do we know this? We tell each other. There's a meme I had someone say, kama haujui mpesa pin ya mama yako huko si kwenyu. There's something like that I had in TikTok, so we tell each other. So that is how, yeah.
Yeah, I remember asking the teller, why don't you call the head office? Most likely, maybe they posted the wrong figure.
Yeah.
And
We were
then I was,
thinking that.
I sat there and actually thought,
And she's
What
not
is the
saying that she walked from where we were staying till the bank.
yeah,
And it was a long.
yeah, I walked, but I had 10 bob. And then I was wondering, now it has started raining, are they going to increase? So it's
And it
like
was
I
a
went to the
rainy day,
matatu
yeah.
to the conductor and asked, how much are you charging to this certain place? And then he told me 10 bob. Kusikia 10 bob nisikia, my goodness.
She worked, and it was a rainy day. It was.
Yeah.
2020 was something.
Yeah. Actually, most of the situations that brought depression into my life was connected to my employer. I don't know whether God was telling me something or I don't know, but yeah, you can imagine you go to the bank, it's at the end of the month, you have rent to pay, you have food to, you have fares for your child to school, you're also going to work, and then you just go and find there's nothing in the bank. In fact, there is a negative.
Yeah.
So the whatever the bank didn't show the negative. The negative was on my payslip. It was on my payslip. In my bank, I think there was also an overdraft.
Yeah, we had taken an overdraft.
Yeah, we had taken an overdraft.
So it was crazy. We can just tell you that.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It was.
And then the most saddening thing is when I went to the head of human resource, and she told me there's nothing she can do about it. And she was not a bit rude, she was very rude. I remember her telling me, don't call my name, don't call my name, get out of my office. And then I went, and I could not tell my daughter how I was feeling because I was also seeing she was depressed. So it was kind of, having to have somebody who will be stronger for the other person. People are depressed, but one exhibits, it's exhibiting symptoms, but the other one is bottling the system, the symptoms. Because I was really trying to be strong for you. I was really trying.
It was a hard time. It was a hard time for both of us, and I feel like it took the best. It took the best days from us because we were just getting back. As I said, our financial problems started when I was in Form 4. So all that time we had really never bounced back nicely. Things are very
Something
shaky.
would come.
Something would come, and now we had thought, now everything now has gone back to normal. Now things are good, and then poof, something happens, and we're homeless, and we weren't prepared for it. I cannot say that at any particular point we didn't see it coming. Did we see it coming?
We didn't see it coming.
We could have seen other problems coming, because we were still struggling to make ends meet, but life was moving. but not that. That was not something that we had ever thought would ever happen to us. And we have decided to share this and talk about this because of how mental health illnesses are on the rise, especially now in the time of COVID pandemic. And there are a lot of people who are going through a lot of similar things that we have explained, or dealing with one thing or another. There are a lot of people who have lost their work. There are people who have lost housing. People who have had to go and stay with relatives or friends. People who are just treating them badly, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh, I'm alone, or is there anyone who's going through this? I want you to know that, especially now during the pandemic, people are really struggling, and it's very sad that mental health is on the rise in Kenya, but it is not being amplified as much as it should be. People are not talking about it because there's also stigma related to talking of, oh, I'm depressed, or I'm bipolar, or I have this, I have that, and people are dying in silence. And every day we are having a case of suicide.
Yeah,
Every
suicide.
single
Yes.
day in this country, we are having a case of suicide. We're having people who are depressed.
Also homicide,
Yeah,
and there's also there are also murders that are being,
yeah. We have seen we have had of stories where parents are killing their kids and killing themselves because there's so many issues that are rooted in the society that people are not talking about. And that is why we have decided that today we want to talk about depression. We want to talk about the signs and symptoms of depression. We want to talk of how to deal with depression according to what we have seen has worked for us. How to cope with depression. Now we have started with telling all of you of how I got to be diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. And mom has also spoken about how she has been depressed, and having to be strong for both of us. So now we want to go to the signs has affected us. From what we have seen were our signs and symptoms, and from what we are seeing from people around us. And these are things that people really don't even know that they're symptoms or signs, because people think that to be depressed, something big has to happen. You have to be going through something extremely big. You can be going through something so that may look to someone else so minimal. What's the word? Minimal? Isn't it minimal? Yeah, minimal. But to someone else, it's very huge.
Yeah.
So our first signs and symptoms is lack of interest in anything. You can be there and you just don't feel like doing anything. When you wake up, you don't feel like you want to go to work. You don't feel like you want to come out of bed. You don't feel like you want to talk to anyone. You don't feel like you want to do anything. Your body, your mind,
Yeah.
you just feel like I should just sit down today and just stay in the house and live in the house and never come out. That is one sign that people really neglect, because watu wanaichukuanga kama uchovu. Nimechoka.
Ama laziness.
Ama unasikia leo niko mvivu, sisikii kukula, sisikii kupika, sisikii kufanya nini. Mimi nasikia tu nimechoka. No, we're not saying that all the time it is a sign of depression. Please don't get us wrong.
If it is persistent.
If it is persistent, and if you're going through some hardships in your life and you find yourself in a place like that, that is a sign that you have stress, that you should probably look for help. Number 2 sign is disassociation. Hiyo singesema mara moja. Disassociation from people. Disassociating. disassociating
withdraw.
from people or
Yeah.
withdrawing yourself from people. You don't want to hang around people, you don't want to talk to people. If you have a spouse and if it is your parents, if it is your family members, you just don't want to be next to anyone, you want to lock yourself in your room. If you're living with people, if you're living alone, you don't want to come out of the house, you don't want to see anyone, you don't want to pick anyone's phone call. And this is the time that you even push your friends.
Yeah.
You
put
push
them
your
away.
friends away, you push your family members if you have family members who are actively involved in your life. You push them away. If you have a spouse, this is the time people break up,
Or they commit
yeah,
murder.
or they commit murder, because you don't want to see someone next to you, Yani. I think that was like my first sign that I was depressed, because I didn't want to. From March 2020, there are people that I started talking to this year. The people that I started talking, I was talking to 2 people last year, and it's because there are a couple. That's why there are 2 people. Those are the only people that I was talking to last year. I was not talking to anyone else. Not okay. Only not for the fact that I was depressed, but also for the fact that when you have problems, friends disappear. When you have problems, people vanish. You don't know. So the support system was not.
It is now you see them, now
you don't. Now you see
see
them,
me,
now you don't. The third sign and symptom, appetite. So if you are me, you can either. There's a time I was not eating.
Yes.
And for someone who loves food, I'm a foodie. I love food. I'm very much of a foodie. I love food all the time. If I can eat 10 times a day, I will eat 10 times a day. But it reached a point that I wasn't feeling like eating at all. Mom would cook, namwambia niweke chakula kidogo.
Or you say you're not hungry.
Oh, I say I'm not hungry. It's the depression, it was the stress, it was everything. But now I'm eating. Now
eating.
No, I'm eating, but it's because of the medication. Depression medication also gives you an appetite, so that's why people grow a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
But you can either, so for people it works both ways. There are people who don't want to eat at all, and other people who find comfort
in food.
And you eat a lot, and you expand, and it can also add to depression for people who don't like big bodies, but you're still just finding yourself eating and eating and eating and eating. So that is one of the signs and symptoms, that people really don't, they overlook. So we have also abuse of drugs. You could have found, maybe you're a casual drinker. The people who are casual drinkers, you just go to drink, mara moja, with your friends, and it's just that you just drink for enjoyment. But now you're finding yourself drinking because you want to numb yourself
And forget something.
and to forget things, and you're there, and to you unaona tu, yani si kama ni kitu kubwa. Unakunywa Monday to Monday, you start slacking. Maybe it's your work, maybe it's just in life general. If you're a student, if you're at home, you just start abusing. It doesn't necessarily have to be alcohol. There are other different types of drugs. So you can find yourself, you are not smoking bang, and all of a sudden you start smoking bang, and you're smoking a lot of it because maybe it gives you a high, you forget, So abuse of drugs is also a sign of depression, and you have to be very careful with that one. That is something that can take you a long time before you get over that.
Yeah, and
Because-
also it affects your finances.
Yeah.
Because the more you drink,
Yeah.
the more your pocket dries,
Yeah.
and then
Totally.
you also turn to cheap alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, like changa,
Yeah.
whatever else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one sign of symptom of depression that people do overlook a lot of times. Unaona mtu ameanza kunywa sana, umeanza kusema siku hizi anakunywanga sana, siku hizi amekuwa mlevi. No. If you know someone who is like that, or if you are someone who is like that, please look at the things in your life that are pushing you to that, because mental health issues and illnesses, there has to be a root, and a root has to be a problem. It can be anything, but as long as it is a problem that is hindering you from your daily activities, or from the person you feel like this is who I'm meant to be, that is a mental health issue or an illness, and you really need to seek for help. Then our last sign and symptom is suicidal thoughts. So you start feeling like you don't belong in this world, and I think that is the worst feeling.
Yeah, it's when you become hopeless.
Yeah.
You see, where there's hope, there's life.
There's life, where there's life, there's hope.
Where there's life, there's hope.
Yeah.
So you're feeling like somebody said one time he's a walking dead, and I
Yeah.
wondered how could somebody be walking and dead.
And dad.
He feels like he's forgotten.
Yeah.
Family, God, and
Everyone.
yeah, everyone. And he
Yeah.
said he's a walking dead,
Yeah.
and that made me feel very,
It was very sad.
very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very, very sad.
Yeah.
So suicidal thoughts are, you can either feel like you want to kill yourself, you can either feel like you want to hurt someone who's near you or next to you. That is a sign and symptom of depression or mental health issues or illnesses, and you have to seek help for it. These are not things that you should overlook, and we tried looking at the signs and symptoms that people overlook. Watu wanasemanga, unaelewa, ni kitu normal, yani hata ukiona ikifanyika kwa maisha yako, you just think it's normal. Like for myself, like the appetite thing, I didn't know that I was depressed. I remember even telling my counselor I'm not eating, and people know me to love food. Like I'm one person who really loves food. And the moment that I told her that I'm not eating, she asked me how often, and I'm like, a lot more than I should. And she told me you're getting worse, because that is before now I was diagnosed by a therapist. At that time I was just seeing a counselor, and she was like, this is bad, this is really bad, we really need to do something about it. And now that is how I found myself now seeing a therapist, a psychiatrist. So these are things that we would like you to search yourself. And
Maybe before that, I'd like to add that there's also this feeling of anger. It's like you're angry with everybody.
yeah.
And then there's also general untidiness.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
you don't want to bathe, you don't want to change clothes, you scatter everything
Yeah.
on the floor. And it can also be the other way. The person becomes very clean,
Very.
Ataki.
I don't like
until it becomes
dark.
irritating, because you're told not to step here.
There's also a disorder for that, OCD.
Yeah.
There's also a disorder for
Yeah.
that, OCD. So you can be depressed and actually have OCD. So OCD is really bad. OCD has even been so bad to some people that some people bathe with jik. They brush their teeth with jik. It has been, these are things that we have read about, we have heard about. So it can also be, depression can also bring about OCD.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the signs and symptoms we wanted to touch on today, because we feel like we're also going to have a part 2 of this, but we wanted fast to this because those are the to us those are signs and symptoms that people like really take them lightly. Like hausi kwenda job, ni sawa tu. Pengine umechoka, jana ulikuwa unadu, those are the things people ask. Jana ulikuwa unadu, pengine umechoka, ni vile ulitembea, and now it gets to happen repeatedly and repeatedly, and to you bado tu unaona tu ni kitu normal. Nasikia kukufa, kila mtu anasikia kukufa siku hizi, life imekuwa ngumu, economy imekuwa ngumu. No, it doesn't matter how hard life gets, you should never have to feel like you want to die. And if it reaches to that point, you have to ask for help. So now we're going to talk about coping mechanisms, dealing with depression, especially in this time, especially how hard it is. So one, realize your triggers. Triggers can be anything, Triggers can be that problem that you're having in your life. Triggers can be your expectations of your life. A trigger can be anything, and you have to realize your triggers. What are these triggers? Where are they coming from? Because it is a trigger that I'm so sorry. Nimefungana mapua, si ati nataka kutoa. Nimefungana. A trigger is, as I before when I was explaining, I said that I have been depressed for a long time, but it took someone leaving me to trigger my depression. So a trigger can be that food that you keep on eating. That can be your trigger. And a trigger can be lack of money. You don't have money, you can't go to work. A trigger can be your landlord always stressing you, for I'm so sorry. Always stressing you for rent, and you're there, you're wondering, okay, times are hard, why isn't this person understanding? So please first identify your triggers. Identify what is it that really makes me feel so bad. What is it that makes me not want to eat, or makes me want to feel like drinking, or makes me want to sleep, or want to stay in the house, or I don't want to talk to anyone. What is this that is in my life that is triggering this? That is the first, that is the first way to deal with mental health issues. Second, accept that you're not okay. That is one thing people, don't understand.
And there's no shame in that.
There's no shame in that.
Yeah.
That is one thing. People is like, sasa nafaa kushinda hapa nikisema niko depressed. No. Accepting that you're not okay is accepting that right now I'm broke. I can't live in Kilimani. I have to go to Umoja, let me say. You're accepting that you're not okay. Is accepting that right now I can't go to Nairobi hospital, I have to go to Kenyatta. And being okay with that. It's accepting that, right now I can't be going to the club the way I was going to, and staying at home. You have to, I feel like that should have been the first. No, the triggers is okay. You really need to accept that you're not okay, because you cannot move forward with your mind or with whatever that is happening to you if you don't accept that you're broke. I tell people all the time, even mom hears me telling people I'm broke. People will call me up and invite me to places, and I'll be like, no, I'm broke. Mom also says when she's broke. Like, she doesn't hide it. We don't hide. Kama kuna kitu nimenormalize kwa maisha yangu, nikwambia watu niko broke. I don't care if you're a rich kid, a spoiled kid, a what kid. If you want to be in my life, you have to realize that there are things that I don't have the capability of doing at this particular point.
Now the problem is, even when you tell people you are broke, they don't see you.
They don't. That's the thing.
They look at you. They judge the book by its cover.
Yeah, I wanted to come to that.
Yes.
There are people who don't look like their problems. This video actually that we are doing right now, there are people who are going to watch it and not believe. They won't believe that we have gone through these things because we don't look like our problems. Because if it is our hair, I do our hair. Yeah. If it's our nails, I do our nails, When I was younger, I had this tabia. You remember, if something of mine would wear out, a cloth, I would redesign it into something else. So it would, I would always look like I'm in fashion, you know. If I saw a tear, I started wearing ragged even before ragged became a fashion style.
Yeah.
Because something would raruka, I'd be like, how will evil? No, I'm going to redesign you. And I should have done fashion and design.
I remember that time you put a patch.
I put so many patches. Imagine I put, there's that one. I put a patch. So I put a patch. It was a leggings. And it was a very good legging.
Yeah.
And I put a patch everywhere, almost everywhere, the same patch almost everywhere, so that it would come out to look like a design. So we have never looked like our problems. Even the times that we would tell people we are having problems, people wouldn't believe us.
Yeah.
Like, people legit would not believe us. So accept that you're not okay. Accept that you're in that situation where things are not how they used to be. Things are now different, but it doesn't mean that things won't go back to how they used to be or even become better.
Mm.
3, please, a coping mechanism. Surround yourself with people who want the best for you. Because being around people who, you know, they don't encourage you, they don't cheer you on, can be a very bad trigger.
They just sympathize.
They don't even sympathize. Yani, they make you feel like whatever you're going through is not so big.
Yeah, they're always telling you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'll pray for you.
I'll pray for
there's
you.
There's time for praying and there's time for
action.
Yeah.
So support yourself with people who are for you, people who show you that, you know, even if you had a breakdown in town, I would come. I would legit, if I'm at work, I would legit ask my employer for permission, and I come get you. You know, if you're hungry, the little money that I have, you know, we will share it. You know, if you don't have a roof over your head, it's okay. You can come stay at my place, and they don't make you feel bad for whatever you're going through, because human beings can be terrible.
Yeah.
Human beings can be really terrible, and you have to know when to say goodbye to some people in your life. So make sure you really surround yourself with people. Another coping mechanism, if you cannot be able to do it on your own, please ask for help. There are people who are strong enough to go through something and go through it alone, but there are people who are not strong enough. And please, I always tell people, usijali hata, enda social media hata. And sema mimi sina chakula, mimi sina nyumba. We have seen people do that.
Yeah.
And someone has always helped.
You can never know there's help unless
you ask for it.
Unless
you go for it.
Yeah, you search for it. You make people know that you need the help. Yeah, you can never. I have seen people who ask once, twice, that time, and there are people who are willing to help. But of course, you have to know that there are places you look for help and you won't get it.
Yeah, you'll come up like that,
and
it's okay.
Yes, and mostly it is those people you helped even without them asking
for the help.
Yeah,
very true, very true. So that is something really important. That is my last coping mechanism. I'm so sorry, I'm feeling terrible. But please, if you're there, this is for you, so that you can know that we have almost gone through everything.
Yeah.
Not everything completely, because there are things that we haven't gone through, and we're grateful that there are things we haven't gone through. However hard things have been in our life, we are grateful that every time there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And you have to believe for yourself. No one can believe this for you. You have to believe that there's light at the end of the tunnel. Whatever you are dealing with, there's light at the end of a tunnel. If you're a believer, you know your faith, you know what your faith says about believing. If you're not a believer, then you have coping mechanisms, and you have whatever you believe in. So you have to realize that there is light at the end of a tunnel. Whatever it is, no problem is forever.
Yeah.
No problem lasts forever.
Yeah.
It might take longer to go, but it's not going to be there forever. Most of the most accomplished people on this earth, in this world, have had to go through hell.
Yeah.
And back. Kitambo, I used to think, especially people from Hollywood, I used to think these are people who had it easy, people who just woke up one day and they started acting, woke up one day and they started singing. We've had of celebrities who have started from very far. If you've heard the story of Tiffany Haddish, who just became a household name. Jose, she says how she used to sleep in her car. She didn't have a place to call home. She's moving from state to state. If you've ever heard the story of Brad Pitt, he used to work at like KFC, sort of, and he used to be the chicken guy who used to. Is that how you roll that thing? As he was looking for gigs, Sometimes it's good to sit down and actually listen to motivational speaking, because you will get to realize that a lot of people have gone through a lot of things. Steve Harvey talks of how he has struggled, how he used to live also in his car. He never had a place called home, how there's some people who helped him because he asked for the help. So you have to learn that in this day and era, people are so busy with their life, and if you don't make it, you don't make it your job to love yourself, and loving yourself can be you saying, I'm not okay right now. That is loving yourself.
And I need help.
And usiogope. Imagine what wataongea. People will talk
They
when
will
you're
always,
rich. People will talk when you're poor.
they will always have something
So
to
people
say.
will always have something to say. So you have to realize that you love yourself, and there's so much to this life. There's something I always say. Uko tunasemanga tunaenda hatujui vile kunakaa. Maybe it is far much worse than it is here. So, hang in there. It's gonna be okay. If you cannot do it on yourself, please ask for help. There's always someone who's willing to help you.
And if you don't get it from me, ask another person.
Yes.
Yeah, don't remember, your life is your life, and it doesn't matter what people say or do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you want to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember there's that guy who had won a placard and went to, was it Thika Road, and said
Yes.
he needed a job.
Yes.
He got a job. He got a job finally.
Yeah.
And he was just wearing his placard, and he said whatever he is he's qualified in doing, and someone so, so don't sit there. That is the worst punishment you can give yourself. Like my mental health, as I said, is sponsored by someone else, and it's because I spoke up. I told these people that I'm not okay. I need help with my mental health, and they have paid for my therapy sessions. They have paid for my medication, and mental health is very expensive, and that is why it should be the number one priority for this country at this particular time, because a lot of people are going through mental health And that is why we actually even took the initiative to do this video, because we need to make you know that it is okay not to be okay, and you're not alone. I've won a march that says, don't struggle in silence, speak up. It's okay not to be okay. Mental health matters. That's one of our merchandise. If you'd like to own something like this, you can always hit us up. We will have one ready for you at very good prices, but that's beside the point. Please speak up. Usikae hapo, hatutaki kupoteza watu. So many people have died, and there's so much that could have been done for them.
Yeah.
So many people are coming out with stories, and Squeezy, the one thing that I'm loving is that watu hawajali. Uongee shauri yako. Unanilisha? Haunilishi?
Hata kuna ule alisema kuna shida gani kuomba na kuomba tena?
Omba. Omba leo, omba kesho, omba hadi hiyo siku utasimama. Lakini pia ukipewa usaidizi, please. Ukipewa usaidizi, don't take it for granted.
Yeah, don't take it for granted. Yeah.
Because there are people who can't help you 2 times.
Yeah.
They will come the first time and they will come with everything they have. So don't take it for granted. And we hope that this video has been informative. We know it has been a little bit long.
I think something we have forgotten. When you're having mental health problems, issues, the people around you, how should they treat, or how should they socialize with this person who is affected?
I think that is better for you to answer, because like you take care of me, so you can tell.
It's not easy. It's not easy because sometimes she's moody. I'm trying to talk to her and she's moody. Sometimes she's too cheerful. And sometimes she may not actually put through whatever is going through her, because some of these mental signs, as we say, sometimes people cannot even be able to they cannot pinpoint, what is going through, whatever is inside you, inside your head, inside your brain. You can hate somebody and nobody will know that that is why I tell you, I don't look at I don't listen to people. I don't usually listen to people according to the way they are talking. I usually look at their eyes. Their eyes tell me a lot, because you could be smiling and sneering at the same time. You see? So when you look at the eyes, it's not very easy for the eyes to lie to you. So sometimes you're not able to know what is going through the person, and you need to be very understanding. You don't have to show irritation, even however much you are feeling irritated. Sometimes some things will be done which are irritating.
Totally true.
But you have to love this person. You love them just the way they are, and you encourage them to take one day at a time.
Yes, every day.
One day.
Every day.
Every day. You wake up. There is a purpose why you woke up today in the morning. So if there is a purpose, you never know about tomorrow. Tomorrow does not belong to you. Tomorrow belongs to God. Because you may be worrying about finances, and you are forgetting that if your health is not okay, then your finances cannot be okay.
They can never.
So I would ask the caretakers to be compassionate, and to pray a lot for the person affected, the person who is depressed, and also those people who are around them. Because you can look after a depressed person and you end up being depressed yourself.
You also have to sensitize yourself about depression, so that means research a lot about depression, what it means to be depressed, I told mom the first time, you need to Google these things because sometimes I can't tell you how to treat me. You know.
Now that you say that, there's a time I used to think you are not, you are what? I used to think that you had the willpower to not do the thing maybe the whatever you are exhibiting.
Yeah.
So, and it would be it would be very very trying for me. People who with mental health, they don't have control of their actions in most cases,
No.
and in all cases.
Yeah.
Yes.
So be a little bit kind to each other, be kind to yourself, and love yourself a little bit more every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Me, I would say, love yourself first, so that you can be able to love other people. A person who does not love themselves cannot love somebody else.
Even if you try.
It starts with you.
It starts with you. So thank you so much for tuning in today, for listening to us, for vibing with us. So we're hoping that this conversation has been of help. We're hoping someone somewhere says this and it gives you hope for today, for tomorrow, for another day. And thank you so much for the support. Asante Sana. We hope you have reached the end of the video. We hope you've loved it. Please tell us what you've thought about this. If you'd like a part 2, we can do a part 2 on it. There's so much to speak about mental health issues and illnesses, and it just doesn't stop from whatever we've said. But mostly we want all of you to take care of yourself and take care of each other, and
take care of your mental health.
Yeah, take care of your mental health. That is everything you have. You might have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your mental health, you have nothing. Completely nothing. So thank you so much. And what do we say? Bye bye. We love you.